Hey everyone, welcome to Star Flag Media on a Monday of all times. Is today Monday? No, it is not. Yes, it is. It is Monday, February the 5th. Long weekend. Happy start to the week to those of you out there. I'm getting on before our, weekly show that already up for everyone to go watch, Drunken Idiots. Because right as I was editing this episode and put it up, some news was pretty much broken out, and it's about Xbox. And I didn't feel like we can wait an entire week just to get my take on this. So you'll still hear what we have to say about it later on in the week, but I figured we have to jump on this one right away and get it out to the channel and kind of jump on it, ahead of the game. What I wanted to talk about was Xbox's approach to first party games that are now headed to other consoles. So over the weekend, it broke that rumored, it's very much in line with what seems to be happening, is that Xbox is going to have Starfield coming out for the PlayStation 5 sometime this year. So that's a huge get for people of multi-platforms who don't own an Xbox and don't want to get Game Pass. You're going to have the opportunity now to get Starfield. It's very interesting for me because it kind of plays into what I've been saying about Xbox all along, that they're slowly moving away from the hardware business and kind of focusing on the games and trying to get you over to the Xbox platform. So this might be their first foray into that. But not just Starfield. Hi-Fi Rush is also rumored to be coming to Nintendo Switch. And that's also another Xbox game that was only on the Series S and X. So here we have two games. Big first-party games, award-winning games, highly rated, are now going to make their way over to PlayStation and Nintendo. So I ask you Xbox fans out there, why own an Xbox? So, you might say, well, what about the other franchises that haven't jumped ship yet, like Halo or Gears of War? Or what about the upcoming games like Indiana Jones? Well, turns out that those games are probably headed over to PlayStation and possibly Nintendo Switch too. What can I say about that? So Indiana Jones was shown off last month, and it was one of those big games. It's coming over to Xbox and it's exclusive. It seems like Microsoft is treating the Series S and X now as a timed exclusive console where, hey, you might get this game 6 months to a year first and get it on Xbox first. But if you own another system, don't worry. You don't have to buy an Xbox, and we've got you down the line. If I was and I am a gamer that doesn't own an Xbox, I'll wait for that game. I would wait for Starfield. I jumped on Game Pass and finished Starfield, and then once I was done with Starfield, I didn't re-up my my Game Pass subscription because that was the game I wanted to play on Microsoft. But had I known that I could wait, and get it on PlayStation later on, I think that now that this door is opening up, I won't be jumping on first-party Xbox games in the future. What motivates you to own an Xbox now? So my thoughts is this. Before I go on to my thoughts, there's another big hitting franchise that's also rumored to be coming over to possibly the Nintendo Switch 2 and the PS5, and that is the Gears of War series. So there's probably some kind of a collection coming out with the 5 Gears of Wars, and they're all going to be available on PlayStation 5 and possibly the Nintendo Switch 2, according to what's breaking out there. And there is a lot of evidence that backs this up. I normally don't jump too much on rumors and speculations unless there's something out there that points to this evidence being true. So, Gears of War, the next big Indiana Jones games, Hi-Fi Rush, Starfield. We've seen plenty of other first-party games also on Switch, like Ori and Minecraft, just to name a couple. Microsoft seems to be kind of teasing people on other platforms with their platform as far as Game Pass is concerned. So it seems like what's going to happen is in the future they might treat the Game Pass platform or the consoles, if they even develop consoles in the future, which I really do believe the next system is probably going to be an all-digital, download-only and Game Pass-only system. So you can either download the game and pay for it or subscribe to Game Pass. I think those are going to be the two big options for Microsoft next gen. They might sell a separate CD drive. I highly doubt it. But if you're a Nintendo Switch 2 owner or the PlayStation 5 owner, you may just be okay with waiting 6 months to a year and getting whatever first-party game they decide to drop. So here's my big thoughts on this is, I believe that's what they're going to do, timed exclusives for this generation. They're going to try to get people hooked on Xbox platform first-party games and then possibly move them over to Game Pass and hopefully hook them onto Game Pass. And I really do understand that being first is everything, because a lot of people do have that fear of missing out, and having a game that's out for a year, it's hard to play a year later after everybody's already played it on the other systems. It's hard for you to kind of jump on it later on. A lot of Switch owners got, these impossible ports of games a couple of years or a year to a couple of years after their initial releases. But, if you already owned an Xbox or a PlayStation, you had already played these games a year or 2 years ago. There was no reason for you to rebuy these games unless you really desperately wanted to take them on the go. So, this is a big deal. Microsoft is now looking more and more like a third-party publisher, and they are seemingly bringing the heavy hitters over to the other consoles, even if it is 6 months to a year later. Listen, I've seen a lot of Xbox, if you want to call them this, Xbox ambassadors on Twitter, on X, taking off their banners, changing their logos, and demanding Phil Spencer called to action and asking him what's going on. But of course, this is all part of a bigger strategy for them. At the end of the day, Microsoft is looking to expand Xbox as a platform and not so much as a console business. Microsoft's never been huge on the business of selling you hardware. Overall, they have, their tablets, and they've brought out phones before, and the Zune, and really the only hardware that's been even slightly successful for them is the Xbox, realistically. So they're probably looking at what it costs to be in the hardware business, and that's probably their biggest hit, even though they've made profit, finally in the last couple of years. They're probably tired of the initial drought of profit when it comes to making hardware. So again, it's probably going to be a cheap digital box with, big storage, and that's their next system, and get you onto Game Pass. If I was an Xbox guy, if I was just an Xbox dedicated, hardcore Xbox guy, I would be upset right now, because this is my console of choice. This is my brand of choice, and they're abandoning it. If you were a Sega person back in the day, as a lot of us were, it was really difficult when you first saw Sonic Adventure jump over onto a Nintendo GameCube. It was the weirdest thing ever to get Sonic the Hedgehog on a Nintendo system. A lot of you guys don't remember that, but trust me, it was weird. And then to see the big franchises make, jump ship over to Xbox, and you could only play Sega GT 2002 on Xbox. So is Microsoft pulling a Sega? Not so much out of necessity, because they're not suffering. They're not out, in the way Sega was for money, but in the way of seeing how Sega prospered later on as a publisher and as a platform instead of, well, not so much as a platform, but as a publisher at the very least, and a third-party developer. They're looking at bigger pieces of the pie. They're looking at the entire game industry right now and thinking, yeah, we could put our stuff on everything and just rake in the money as in the software business, and then hopefully once they're hooked onto our franchises, get them over to Game Pass, or at the very least make these games exclusively on Game Pass for a year, for example, and then later after a year will arrive on the other platforms. I don't know if that's enough. If that's the route, I can see how it's profitable for sure. But if I was a dedicated Xbox guy, I don't know if I would care that much. You know, you're gonna really dilute your hardcore base. Now, as a person who, you know, I didn't buy the Xbox One and definitely not gonna buy Xbox Series S or X now. Especially when the games that I'm interested in, the only big game that was coming up, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, was the game that I was probably going to buy Game Pass for again. But now it's rumored to come out on PlayStation 5. I might just wait. You know, and then by the time, if it doesn't come out by that time, I'll probably be over it. So, give me your thoughts, leave a like. But more than anything, give me a comment below. What do you guys think about Xbox possibly bringing Indiana Jones and Gears of War over to PlayStation 5 and possibly the Nintendo Switch too? As always, Anthony here, you know, thanks for joining us at Star Flag Media, and leave that like and subscribe.